Hello witchy people, I am back as promised to show you quickly what I've done downstairs in rearranging my books and my herbs. This is one of my bookshelves. It's a bit of a mess at the moment because I've had to bring a lamp down because there's no room, there's no light, and this is quite a small room. But I would like to show you first my top shelf, which goes the full length, and it starts off with it starts off with my father-in-law and my dog. um, my cat's upstairs in a box. Okay, so we have up here just some books, my ghost books. I love ghost books. A lot of books by Susan Hill. This is one of my mini album boxes. It's actually a working clock, and inside is a mini album. And so I'm trying to dodge the chairs. We then have one of my obsessions, Jack the Ripper, and then just my albums, my 12 by 12 scrapbook albums, and then a couple of little suitcases. Now the suitcase on top was actually my grandmother's first husband's suitcase, just a small one, and it has his initials on it, and that was passed down to me. Old picture of my grandchildren and me. We'll just ignore that you can see me in the mirror there. That's my snow globe collection. Okay, back over this way. That, of course, if I can get far enough away, is my cape and a few spare bits and pieces here, which I will go into in a moment. But my bookshelf, I've had to move some chairs out of the way to get into this. So let's open it up. This cabinet was actually my grandfather's, and before that it was his mother, so it was my great-grandmother's. Okay, and I'm going to come down here. Now obviously most of these books aren't actually pagan related in any way. I have my Anne Rice collection, and going on to my Clive Barker, James Herbert, Stephen King. I think there's some more Clive Barker over there, and all of these are poetry books, and in a lot of these books there are poems, published poems by both me and my mum, which is why they're there. And then we're on to the top shelf. Now the top shelf, first of all, so I'm trying not to hit the microphone. These are books on myths and legends of the Celtic myths and legends and myths and legends from the Middle Ages. They're really good reference books actually. And then we go on to the Spell a Day books, and that is from 2003 up to the present day. Those were the same ones that were on my windowsill. We have last year's Magical Almanac, and then it goes on to some of the books that I use as reference books. First of all, I'd like to, I forgot about this one down here. It's a tiny little book here. That's it. It's a little gem book for garden flowers. Really, really useful little book. So, just one of those things. It's just a useful book. Pop that there for the moment. Okay. So, I'm going to start this end of the bookshelf, if I can. Okay, here we go. Right, so this is Pagan Channel Islands. And it's quite interesting to see the difference in sort of the history of the Channel Islands compared to, say, England. So, and there are some nice little differences there. Silbury Treasure, which is all about Silbury Hill, which is near Avebury. And I do love Silbury Hill. Okay, then we go on to, I think I've shown you this book. This is one of my favourite folklore books. Witchcraft Spells. Then we have Old Wives' Tales, Hedge Witch by Raybeth, which, like I said, it's probably a good book, just not a good book for me. Grown Herbs in Containers. Right, then we have Herbal Remedies. Then we have an awful lot, once again, of folklore, superstitions, and sort of myth books. So Red Skirt Night, One for Sorrow. Obviously, Sacred Crystals, Book of Fortunes, Old Wives' Tales, The History of Herbal Healing, Ancient and Modern. This is actually specific to Napier's, which is a company. Then we have the Kitchen Witch and the Book of Spells. So I'm trying not to drop everything. And yes, I do have a book on Wicca, because obviously Wicca is not my tradition, so it's useful that I do have some reference there on Wicca. And these books are called Plain and Simple books, and they're really quite useful. I have one on flower essences, psychic ability, black cats and evil eyes. This is another one of those lovely little reference books for superstitions and old wives' tales. And another one, Superstitions, Old Wives' Tales, the Anthology of English Folk Tales, Hampshire and Isle of Wight Folk Tales, because obviously this is relative to where I live. I live in Hampshire. Midwinter Folk Tales. Then we have The Magic Lands, Old Wives' Tales, Herbal Remedies, the Little Book of Curses, I think I've showed you before, The Folklore of Plants and Plant Lore and Legend. And down here we have a few little books that I love. Sorry, I'm going all off, aren't I? So these are the books that I love. We have The Magic of Herbs, a very old book. Then a book of herbal remedies, tiny little book, absolutely amazing. And this, I love this book, Weather Forecasting the Country Way. And it is one of those, it's brilliant. And it's got all little things like, you know, when cows lay down, it's going to rain. So, and it's just a simple little book. And it's absolutely amazing. So that is my bookshelf here. And obviously we have a date book from a few years ago, which, like I said, it's useful to keep those, which is why I keep all my spell a day books. So that's my top bookshelf here. There are more, and I will show you those when I turn the camera around. Oh, no, first of all, let me come over here. There's a few extra books here. Not this one. This one is actually a gift for someone who will know it when they get it. Okay, so once again, this is one of these Orion Plain and Simple books, which is herbs. Then I do have this. This is just for reference. I wanted to read it because I want to know what other people are talking about. Obviously, I do have a lot of books on Judaism, and I have a Judaic Bible because my father was Jewish. This, like I said, it's just a reference book I wanted to read, so I know what it's all about. And then I have the Book of Dream Interpretation. Everything else here is spares and leftovers. So let's get this closed up again. And what I shall do is, here's my leftover bits from Christmas. As you can see, my youngest other half uses this and makes his guitars. This, isn't it amazing? Yes, he did make it. He's fantastic. Leftover booze from Christmas. But through there is my garden, which I can't show you because it's dark, and even if I could show you, it's a mess. So I'm going to change camera angles in a minute. I'm going to go over there. Okay, I'm back on the other side of the room, sat down here on the floor with the dog trying to play with his toys and making weird noises. Anyway, so this is the herb cabinet on the other side of the room, and it's got just a few extra books in it. One of the books I'm reading at the moment is this one, which is The Land of the Green Man, A Journey Through the Supernatural Landscapes of the British Isles. Just started reading this one, but it seems pretty good. It's by Carolyn Larrington. So yes, it's a pretty good book at the moment. Okay, so underneath here, and this is obviously you can't see under here when the doors are closed of the cabinet. This bottom half here is completely blocked in. So I have my grimoire here, which when I finish it up, I will do another flip through to show you how it's all coming together. I'm really sorry about the lighting. It is pretty dire. Oops. Let's see if I can get it a bit better. Not really. Okay, so next in my bookshelf, I have the Encyclopedia of Magic and Witchcraft. That's a Greenwood book, Susan Greenwood. And like I said, most of my books are not what you would call pagan books. So there's this one, which is The Ever-Changing Woodlands, The Living Countryside. Beautiful book, beautifully illustrated. If you like trees or anything, then that's the book to get. This is actually a Reader's Digest book. If you're going to have books like this, get them, once again, that are relative to your area. So they are, you know, something that grows around you, something that is connected with where you live, so that you know what you're looking at. Okay, we have The Illustrated Herbal. This is a book from, I think it was the 70s. A Modern Herbal, which is not so modern anymore. The Encyclopedia of Mind, Magic and Mysteries. Now, this one's actually quite good because it has a little bit of everything in it. From, like I said, herbalism, homeopathy, numerology, Chinese astrology. It's got everything. So that's quite a good reference book to have. Then we have The New Book of Herbs by Jekka McVicker. Really popular book, that one. The Encyclopedia of Witches and Witchcraft. Once again, another little reference book. It's good for, like, if you want to look up dates and times and, like, people, what happened in Salem, that sort of thing. So it is a nice little reference book, but it's not too in-depth about anything. I do have another copy somewhere. I just don't know where I've put it. Okay, then we have The Handmade Apothecary, Healing Herbs and Remedies. The Real Witch's Kitchen by Kate West. A Complete Formulary of Magical Oils. And Hedgerow Medicine by, now this is by, I'll carefully take this out. This is by Julie Brecon Seal and Matthew Seal. And this is actually a really good one. Now, obviously, I wouldn't recommend picking anything you don't know what it is. And what I would actually recommend is, if you can get some hedgerow seeds and plants and grow them yourself, grow your own little hedgerow. Really, really good thing to do. And this book then is, it's a little diamond. And then I have I think the two most popular Judika Illes books, which is the Encyclopedia of Witchcraft and the Element Encyclopedia of 5,000 Spells. And I know you can also get the Element Encyclopedia of 1,000 Spells. This is actually my own copy. Miss Lizzie has got her copy back now, and this is my own copy. And that's really it for here. There are a few more books that I've got stashed away, but these are the main ones really that make up. So if I need to reference anything that makes up my bookshelves. Of course, there is this, which is a beautiful book. It's the Book of Port, Volume 1. And you see it's gorgeously bound, and it's not actually a book. It is, there you go. It is just a really nice box, which is why that's in there. So what I'm going to do now is, hopefully, I'm going to put all this bit away, and then I will go through and I'm going to make another video and show you how my herb collection is coming along. And obviously, when I do a lot of my what goes on my Etsy store does come from this herb cabinet. It is from my personal collection. So like I said, some of it I grow myself, and if I can't grow it myself, at the moment I can't grow anything in my garden, it does get sourced from, on the whole, trustworthy places. So there we go. I will talk about that later on, but for now, thank you for watching, witchy people. I hope you enjoyed the little tour of my bookshelf, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye, have fun.